Hello, namaste. It's Monica from theyogimovement.com. I'm so glad that you are here. And today we're going to talk about the foundations of flexibility. I get so many questions about how do I open my hamstrings? How do I, get more flexible in my shoulders? How can I deepen my back bends? How can I just be more flexible in general? There are things that you can do, don't get me wrong, to open your hamstrings, to open your shoulders, like specific postures. And I'm going to get into those in some other videos coming up. But today we are going to talk about the foundations of flexibility, all of the things that you need so that when you do start doing these extra postures to open up your hamstrings or to deepen your back bends, that you're doing these 4 specific things while you're opening yourself up, okay? So this is really important. And it's important because I did the same things. Like I would try to push and pull and force myself into postures and I was no good. And it never got me anywhere. Actually, it pushed me back. Backwards, it was a block for me. When I finally implemented these 4 things, which changed my mindset completely, I was finally able to learn how to open up and release and let go inside of my body. All right, so let's use an example. You know how when there's a fad diet, you actually don't lose weight. So you get on the fad diet, like to cut out all the sugar, to cut out all the carbs or something like that. And the weight comes off, temporarily, but then once you go back to normal, everything just bounces back. And that's because it wasn't a lifestyle change. You actually have to make a lifestyle change. You have to completely change your outlook and your mindset on diet and nutrition in order to keep the weight off. And it's not just about losing weight at that point. Once you make the lifestyle change, everything in your life feels better. So you just start glowing, you're happier, you crave healthier foods, you don't even want that bad stuff anymore. You have better friendships and relationships, like everything is better. And so that is kind of part of what keeps the weight off, is because you just know that when you make this lifestyle change, you feel so much better inside and you feel so much lighter and freer, you don't even want to go back to the old style of living. And that's how yoga is too. And that's how we learn to open ourselves up to yoga and this flexibility, which happens in our mind and our body. So when we talk about flexibility in yoga, and when we start to push and pull ourselves into a posture, right? Our bodies actually have muscle memory. So the problem with that is that our bodies are going to remember. So for example, let's say I come into a forward fold here, right? And let's say, I know that I'm flexible here, but let's say that I wasn't and my knees were bending because my hamstrings are tight and I'm folding over. But I just decided to grab and pull and just really try to straighten my hamstrings and really, really struggle here. And my back arches and my form is so bad and I'm not getting anywhere because I'm not actually opening, because yoga is more about surrender and letting go and opening versus pushing and pulling and stretching. So your body has muscle memory. So the more you do that, the more it's going to resist. And then when you come to do it on the mat the next day, your body remembers that and it automatically just pulls back. And so through yoga, we train the body to be flexible by gradually going into it and learning to let go. So this is good because this teaches you on the mat how to be patient and more accepting to yourself and to others and more compassionate to yourself versus force something. Just like you can't force anything in life. Anytime you've ever tried to force something, whether it's a relationship or, you've tried to control or force another person to do something, it never works out in your favor. And that's kind of what we learn on the mat in this situation when we're trying to force a posture. All right, so we need to stop treating yoga like a fad diet so we can actually start to open. So how do we do that? What are these 4 things, right, that I'm talking about? Okay, let's get into it. So the first thing is to become curious and ask questions. So you want to become curious about what's going on. So in yoga, we talk about the drishti, which is where we gaze, where we look internally. So that's what we're doing when we're going to ask questions and become curious. We're really bringing our gaze inwards and we're focusing and we're saying, what's going on here? So, okay, let's go back to this forward fold that I was talking about. So instead of pushing and pulling, I'm tight here in my hamstrings and my lower back and I'm reaching. So when you're in here and you close your eyes even, What is good, ask yourself, like, what's going on? Why am I so tight? Where am I tight? Is this really pain or is this discomfort? Does this really hurt or is there emotion associated with it, right? And you just want to ask those questions. You just want to become aware of it. Just curiosity is the first part. You don't even need an answer, right? So don't start sifting through the brain saying like, okay, here's my question, here's my answer. Because you're asking the question and you need to kind of discover the answer. The answer will come to you. So you can even go deeper as to say, okay, so like, I'm feeling this pain in my shoulder when I do this. So what is this pain? And then what is this emotion associated with this pain? I'm feeling angry from this pain. So how can I let go and release this anger? How can I do this posture and let go and release it? And is this really pain or is this uncomfortable? Is this muscular or is this, a sharp shooting pain? Is this energetic? Do I always feel this or do I feel it just in yoga practice? So like when you do this, like you can even get out paper with you, like a journal, when you're just self-exploring and write these things down. I know some people might frown upon that, but I think that it's a gift to do that. I think it's a gift to kind of explore and be curious and playful in your practice. Of course, like you should practice and get rid of all distraction, but if it helps you to release and let go, you should explore these options too. All right, number 2, accept where you are and be patient. So it's okay, like if you don't get the answers when you ask these questions. And it's okay if you are just stretching in yoga. Like if, let's say like you're like, I don't want to get this deep. I came to yoga because I'm a runner and I want to just like release my hamstrings, just open up my hamstrings and not have them feel so tight. Or I had a doctor that prescribed yoga for me. Like that's totally okay. But even in that situation, you still can't push pull. You still have to kind of work with these foundations because the same way, scientifically, the body has muscle memory. The body's going to resist and react. So you can still injure yourself. You'll be more prone to injury if you just push and pull. It's okay if you're here to be stretching. And I just want you to accept where you are. And then be patient because it takes a while for your body and your heart and your mind to connect. So you might have some of these questions, answered for you. Like, okay, so like the way that I actually need to do a forward fold is to actually work with my pelvic floor, right? Because that's actually, the main thing you're trying to kind of work and fold forward from the pelvic floor here and then just slowly like reach on and not pull, but actually just hold and grasp as you fold forward, almost like you can release, right? So it comes from the pelvic floor. Sometimes it takes a while for like our heart and our mind and our body to catch up to each other. And so just be patient because everybody is different. Every body is different. And you cannot sit there and compare yourself to other people. You cannot say you're more or less spiritual. You cannot say you're more or less flexible. This is just about you being who you are, being you completely unique, all right? And so just be patient and just accept where you are. You have to do that before you can actually open. Third thing is breath. Breath is super important in opening up your body. I didn't realize how important breath was until I read The Anatomy of Hatha Yoga. And you don't even need to read a book to know this, but it did click with me once I read that. So I'm here to tell you about it. So when you inhale is when you work on like kind of supporting and strengthening and bringing the awareness to what needs to support you in the posture. When you exhale is when you release and let go. So anytime you do a twist, you release on the exhale. So let's go back to this forward fold, right? So we're forward folding here. I'll face this way. So we inhale here and we're gonna like strengthen, support, pull in the lower belly, sit up straight. Exhale, release and let go, right? Inhale, tighten, exhale, let go. So I started to work with that actually specifically in back bends because when I would do back bends, I would feel a lot of like panic and fear and resistance. And I would always tell myself before back bends, like, okay, Next time I go into back bends, I'm gonna work on opening up my shoulders and my upper body, and I'm just gonna breathe through it. And then I'd get into back bends and I'd be upside down and I would forget all of that, and I would be like, when is this gonna end? When are my 5 breaths up? When is my adjustment over? And then I'd come out of it and be like, oh, I didn't even work on like my shoulder opening, right? So when you start to like pay attention to the breath, that actually forces you to bring awareness to what's going on in your body. Okay, so inhale, like where do I support myself and strengthen myself? I need to start to like extend my spine up. Exhale, now I'm gonna open and release and let go, right? So then you kind of get into the back bend. Inhale, support again. Exhale, let yourself release and open, right? So breath is really important on bringing awareness to those areas as well. So it all kind of goes together, you know, like being curious, accepting where you are, and breathing. Okay, and the last thing is consistency. Consistency is a daily practice. So of course, take off your moon days, take off your rest days. If you have a day where like you're like, oh my God, I didn't get my practice in, I woke up late, and like forgive yourself and then just recommit the next day. It's okay, it's cool. Don't get mad at yourself. Remember, accept where you are. Having the daily practice, what's gonna help you become more flexible in your mind and body. So you need to practice every day. That's how I learned all of this, is I hop on the mat every day and I become more aware of what's going on. And even when I feel like I know everything, I realize I'm just scratching the surface. But because I do practice daily, I go through all of this stuff. I go through the whole ups and downs of yoga. I go through the whole pushing, pulling, resisting, and then realizing that I need to release and let go. Like asking myself, why do I care so much about this posture? I've gone through the phases where like I've actually like gotten the posture and then it goes away and it comes and goes, and I feel a lot of resistance and then frustration with that. And because just like the fad diet thing, of course you can do little things to open up your body and get your leg behind your head. You know, stretch every morning before you go into your yoga practice or start it, or if you're in front of the TV, just do pigeon. Of course, you can do like these little things to open up your hips, right? But if you're doing it for the purpose of achieving a posture and not really trying to let go, if you're pushing and pulling, it's going to be temporary, because it's just like that fad diet. You're doing it all the time, you finally get it. Well, now you're not doing pigeon every day in front of the TV and putting your leg behind your head before practice. Well, now guess what? You're back where you started, and you can finally start to like put these things together, right? So become curious about what's going on, accept yourself and be patient, breathe, and be consistent. When you do all those things together, you will actually start to surrender, let go, release. You'll start to understand what's going on inside and how to work with your body and how to open it in different ways that are safe and healthy. And you know, usually when you stop fighting things is when things open. So that is my homework to you. The next time you find yourself frustrated in a posture, or you find yourself like pushing and pulling and just trying to crank yourself into a posture, just stop and slow down and just be like, what is going on? What am I feeling? Let me do this really slow. Asking the questions about what you're feeling in each posture. All right, so I hope it helped you out. I'd love to hear what you think about this in the comments below, so leave me a comment, tell me what you think. I will read them and respond to all of them. I'd love to connect with you. And if you'd like this, please subscribe to my channel for more updates and yoga tips. And if you are interested in a daily practice, if you are interested in being more consistent and that's something you struggle with because you practice from home like me, I would like to tell you about my program, the Daily Ashtanga Fix, which you can get on my website. You can go to theyogimovement.com/daily fix and go ahead and grab it right there. So thank you so much for allowing me to talk with you, for your time. You mean the world to me. Just remember, keep breathing, keep practicing, and keep being awesome. You are awesome. Namaste.